Ladies and gentlemen, live from Kelvin University, it's The Tonight Show!
Welcome to The Tonight Show. I'm your host, Jack Droppers. We have a superb show for you tonight. VP Sarah Visser is here, and we will have a live performance from Michigander. But first, let's get to the news. After the app TikTok was almost banned from the United States, 2 American corporations have acquired minority shares in the company, one of which was Walmart. In a public statement, the Walmart CEO said, "We already know that our blue vests are on fleek, but we can't wait to see youths be super thirsty for our Walmart-themed choreographed dances like this incredibly Gucci bop." No, none of those words mean anything bad, right? We don't have to cut any. Okay, we're good. All right. So, as many of you know, on Sunday night, ABC hosted the Emmy Awards, and I had an inside scoop about our chances of winning this year's Outstanding Variety Talk Show Award. You see, on Friday, I heard that the winner was going to be a straight white man, which, to be honest, didn't really narrow it down that much. But then on Saturday, I learned that it was going to be a straight white man whose first name started with J, which also didn't actually narrow it down at all. So anyways, congratulations to John Oliver, who proves that if you're angry in a British accent, people will assume you're funny. In campus news, we have finished 3 weeks of class now, which means many students now know exactly where their classes meet, whether it be the dorm basements or the giant sandbox, and I've even heard that the Frogger-themed FYS class on the Beltline has been a real hit. Finally, we are 42 days away from the election, and if I'm honest with you, it is getting more and more difficult every week to not make political jokes or commentary on this show. However, it is my commitment and our team of writers' commitment to make this show at least moderately funny for every Calvin student. But in return, we ask that you register to vote. You figure out how you're going to vote, and you make sure that your voice is counted by voting this November. You can check if you are registered to vote at vote.org. With that, we'll be right back with VP Sarah Visser.
Thank you. So anyway, what's the deal with postmodern neo-Marxism, Jordan said?
Welcome back. She is my boss's boss's boss, and I know firsthand does the best Taylor Swift impression on campus. Welcome to the show, Sarah Visser.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on the show. It's great to have you here. I want to start off by asking, as the person who has orchestrated us all coming back to campus, I want to know if you had anything that happened during your quarantine that was either surprising or inconvenient, or you're like, I did not expect this to happen.
Oh, good question. So first of all, let me say, my husband and I, we have 3 kids, and so we both have been working at home in the midst of quarantine. And our kids were all doing online school, which is a whole nother thing. I mean, mad props for parents who are juggling work and kids at home and trying to be teachers and all that stuff. So one day, I'm on back-to-back meetings, which means I only emerge to like quick run to the restroom, quick get something to eat. And when I emerged this one point, kind of middle of the day, my oldest daughter's down in the basement, my son's upstairs, and my youngest, who's 7, says, "Mommy, look what I did." And I could smell something, and I'm thinking like, what is going on here? She made cookies from scratch, meaning she like found all the ingredients, she mixed it up, she figured out how to turn on the oven, which she'd never done before. So part of me was like, oh, that's so great. And then
the other part
my mind feels like,
is everything on fire?
Yeah, this is horrible. Like we could all have burned, and really just more of a mom fail. Like, how did I miss 3 hours of this major production?
Were they any good?
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to show her this.
Yeah, that's right. A for effort. No, I thought she did a great job. They were these sugar bricks. They were awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've sort of been, as you've been orchestrating this return to campus, my guess is that's made your own social interactions very different. So I'm curious, have you gone to any like in-person gatherings that aren't Calvin related, like church or a friend's backyard or something like that?
Yeah.
And do you find that it's hard to take off like the VP Sarah hat and be like, excuse me, 6 feet apart, like whenever you see your friends?
Yeah. Because that's what I do on campus.
Yes,
I walk
I know.
around and
I've
say,
watched you
excuse
do
me,
it, so.
6 feet apart. Yeah. So yes, I have been to a couple small gatherings. So the first thing I did, and I actually did it with the same group of people a couple different times, was about 8 women gathering in a backyard. And I think, I didn't feel like I needed to enforce, but I was like really aware of things. I was aware of people who I thought like, oh, they don't really think this is a thing, right? So I sat far away from them.
Yes.
And then, I think I was aware of the people that I thought, oh, you're really concerned about something that is probably pretty low risk. And part of that is I've just been immersed in all this and trying to learn and understand how do we do this well for campus. So, there are little things like people are like, well, he looked at her and talked for like 2 seconds, so she's probably going to get it. And I'm like, actually. So I probably became that resident annoying expert that was like, did you know that that's not actually a risk?
As we were getting information about COVID, it felt like, and I'm sure everyone has this feeling of like, it felt like every month it was like, actually that's not real. And were you just like sitting at home like, all right, now wear masks, and like you like have to change everything? Like how do you deal with that on a chaotic like basis?
So it's just been really rapid fire, right? And everything keeps evolving. So I think there were lots and lots of people. I make no mistake, this was not like the Sarah Visser show. This was the entire leadership of Calvin really working well together. But I think there were sometimes competing things that were coming out, and so we early on said, hey, we're going to follow the CDC guidelines, but then they change. And so really we just go, here we go again. But I think trying to figure out how to communicate it well to the student body, it's just a challenge. It's always a challenge. So wanting to be transparent, but things change all the time, and people saying, that's not what you just said. And we're like, we know. We know. It's changed again.
Yes, for sure. So I have, this is atypical for the show, but I have 2 somewhat serious questions to ask you. And even as I say that, I can't help but giggle because it feels like a mood change. So we're in these incredibly like turbulent times in our culture, and I'm just curious, what responsibility do you think Calvin and institutions like Calvin have when a culture is in crisis?
Yeah, I think it's not just responsibility, it's opportunity. So I have always thought about higher education as this really unique place and time and space that invites people from all these different walks of life, different opinions, different political convictions, different backgrounds, stories, experiences. I think whenever there is tumult in culture, people are looking for stability and they're looking for truth. I don't think that higher ed feels particularly stable right now, but I think higher ed, just as an entity, is all about seeking truth. And I think when you think about Christian higher education, there's even a deeper level of that, right? So we're invited into this without fear, without pretense, really, to try to enter into a conversation and say, like, what is truth? So I think that Calvin in particular has a lot to offer in a time like this, but I think it's really messy work. So I think it's messy because the ground is always shifting. It's messy because we're missing each other in the midst of all of these multiple layered challenges. But I think, like I said, I think that's an opportunity. I think that when we're doing this right and doing it well, I think it can be really invitational and it can be pretty transformative.
Lastly, where in either on campus or just in this present moment do you see things that give you hope?
Every day. Yeah, I was sharing with a friend the other day that there's a lot of hope to be seen if we're attentive to it. So that's actually been my prayer throughout all of this 6 months, because there's been a lot of times where I'm like, I'd like to get off at the next stop, please. And actually, it's the moments of joy, it's the glory story. So some examples of that. it has been overwhelming for our faculty and staff too to try to acclimate to like what does remote learning look like? How do you do this both synchronously and asynchronously? But I also know that we had a strategic plan that we would get better at that kind of stuff, and so here we are. I feel like we've been able to leapfrog and get there a lot faster than we would have, and I am overwhelmed by our students. They're incredible. So I'm in regular touch with a lot of colleagues around the country. And they're asking questions that I think like, oh, our students aren't dealing with that, or our students seem to have no issue with that, or our students seem to be really responding well. So when I think about the hard work that students are doing to be here and to be well while we're here, that's really inspiring to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to find out what Sarah Visser really thinks. Welcome back. We are sitting here with VP Sarah Visser, and I know that you have to make a lot of hard decisions during this time, and so you must be really good at it, which is why we're going to play a new game here at the Tonight Show that we call Fire, Furlough, Tenure.
Fire, furlough, tenure. Fire, furlough, tenure.
Now, the way that Fire, Furlough, Tenure works is I'm going to give you three things, and you will have to choose whether you're going to fire that so you'll never see it again, furlough that, put it away for a season, or tenure that they're going to be here for a while. So, are you ready?
I think so.
All right, we'll start out with an easy one, just to get you warmed up. All right, tacos, pizza, hamburgers.
All right, I would probably, I would fire pizza.
Ooh.
I would furlough hamburgers.
All right.
And I would tenure tacos for sure.
It's a good choice. Good choice. I think I would have fired burgers.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Fired for a low tenure. Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Katy Perry.
Oh, I'd probably fire Katy Perry. I would probably, I'd probably furlough Billie, just depending on the mood, right? And then, I would keep T Swift.
Keep T Swift. Do you think that Billie Eilish would come back more prepared to work after furlough?
Absolutely. I think the depth of that experience would really be inspirational for her.
For sure. All right, fire, furlough, tenure. Lost, Stranger Things, Grey's Anatomy.
They're very different genres. So I would fire Grey's Anatomy since it sounds like we're going for a little more excitement. I'd probably furlough Stranger Things, and then I would what's the other one? Keep them on.
Lost. Tenure lost.
I would tenure Lost. Clearly, I lost my mind there for a second. I was obsessed with Lost,
Oh, yes.
so I would tenure it. I actually tried to get my kids into it.
Have you seen the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yes.
I think
yes.
about that movie, how if
Yeah.
I could erase memories, one of them would be lost.
Oh,
so
really?
I could watch it again for the first time.
Oh, good. I thought you meant you hated it.
No,
and
I
was
loved
like,
it.
No, I loved it too.
I watched it all within the loneliest 3 months of my life, right after college.
Sorry, Jack.
I moved into the basement of this couple that that lived near the church I worked at, and I watched it back to back, all 6 seasons.
When you write your memoir, will that be called? That chapter will be Lost in the Basement?
It could be. We can cut this out, but this is a true story, or you cannot cut it out. When Elizabeth, my wife, and I were about to start dating, I wrote her a 9-page email comparing my life to Lost. And she responded, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." And,
did you also maybe post on the conspiracy theorist sites around Lost?
It's possible. When the plane went down around that same time, I was like,
Yes.
"It's happening.
It's happening."
This is a real." Anyways, let's
We
find our way
digress.
back.
We digress.
Fire, furlough, tenure. Pink polo Kanye, Watch the Throne Kanye, running for president Kanye.
I don't know much about Kanye, except that he says he loves Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. I think I got to fire running for president Kanye.
I mean,
Watch the Throne Kanye and Pink Polo, that's tough. I love Watch the Throne. Finally, Shrek, Megamind, or Despicable Me.
ooh. I'd probably fire Shrek just because it's been around a while. I'd probably furlough Mastermind. And I have a soft spot for Despicable Me.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I love to see the good in people and the promise and the hope, and it's the student developer in me.
There you go. Very, very good. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and for all that you do for helping. And hopefully we'll have you back on the show next season.
Hey, that's an endorsement, which I'd love to see it keep going.
There you
Thanks
go.
for all you do.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll be right back with a musical performance by Michigander.
You're a concept worth exploring. Never nervous, never boring. I don't wanna mess it up. No, I don't wanna mess it up. Crossing state lines through the morning. Little tired, little swerving. I don't wanna mess it up. No, I don't wanna mess it up. I got high hopes, I got high hopes, but they let me down. They usually let me down. Well, I feel like I know you, even though I've only met you. I don't wanna mess it up. I'm probably gonna mess it up. Walking down the stairs on a Wednesday night. Sure, it's kinda cold, but I feel alright, 'cause I got you in the front seat. And you keep on looking at me. 'Cause I got high hopes, I got high hopes, but they let me down. They usually let me down. I got high hopes, I got high hopes, but they let me down. Oh, they usually let me down. Yeah, 'cause love, yeah, love will find you when it's ready. I got high hopes, but they let me down. They usually let me down.
And that's our show. Thanks so much to VP Sarah Visser for stopping by, and thanks to Michigander. If you want to catch more of his music, tune in Thursday night for an extended concert and conversation with him. That's our show. See you next week. Should I try and do like the floss dance move here? I don't know how to do that. You're not gonna be able to get my face. Just like this thing. I'm doing that right. All right, cool. You can roll this in the credits. This person did a good job. That person did great. Every time I see someone do that, it looks mesmerizing, but I can't do it. Yeah, I try and do it in front of my wife, and she's like, "Please stop. Just don't do that."
It took me a while to learn, but you know.
There you go. You got it down. All right.